Hey, it looks like we're live. Welcome. What is going on? I'm still kind of setting everything up. I went live on Instagram and I think I was on there too long. So, welcome to this English lesson where we are going to read an article together. And in doing so, that is going to improve your English. We are going to talk about some of the more difficult vocabulary words. We're going to talk about some words that actually have two or more meanings. So, and I woke up and I have I guess a tickle in my throat, a frog in my throat. So it could be an interesting lesson, but I do want to say hello to Amina. She's going to Montreal today. Very nice. And she has been a channel member for 27 months. So thank you so much for that. And Harry is here from Indonesia. We're going to be talking a little bit about Indonesia today because that is where the Komodo dragons can be found. Mahmoud is here. Hope you're doing well. Mega, Artem, hope you're doing well. Cecilia's here. How are you? Yulia, and I hope my voice holds up. If it doesn't, I apologize. But you can hear I got a little tickle in my throat. Today should not be a very long English lesson. It should be pretty quick, but I do think you will learn quite a bit of stuff. So maybe we should talk about what's a Komodo drag. There's me. There's me smiling, sort of with an awkward face. But there are two Komodo dragons there. And you can see the Indonesian flag in the background. Like I said, the only place you can find Komodo dragons in the wild, not in a zoo, in the wild, is Indonesia. There he is. Or maybe she. That's a Komodo dragon. And I was looking at the Komodo dragon this week, and I never knew, like, is that thing dangerous? It certainly looks dangerous. It looks like a movie monster, like Godzilla. And it turns out it can be dangerous. If you are dumb and you do a couple bad things, this thing could be dangerous. But if you're smart about things, and we're going to read how to survive a Komodo dragon attack, you might be able to live if you come into close contact with this. Algeria's in the house. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Prabjot, I'm sorry. I said that wrong, but I'm glad you're here. And Audie's here. Yeah, Harry's wondering, do they look like a dragon? Not the dragons that I have seen. Not the ones that fly around in fairy tales. We will talk about fairy tales later. Hey, there are 16 people here. And I'm wondering, before we get too far, just so we get to know each other, would you mind in the chat, just put what country you're from, just so we get to know each other a little bit better. I am from the country of the United States. I live in the state of Maine. It's in the northeastern part of the United States. So I put United States. And please don't forget to like this lesson. Thank you. It'll help other people find the lesson. Speaking of the lesson, let's get to some reading. I'm going to make myself small, and I'm going to make those words bigger. And if you would like to, you can read right along with me. And if you want to read this on your own after the lesson, there is a link in the description. Let me clear my throat. We are going to start right at the top. I am going to read that paragraph. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat, And if there is an interesting or difficult vocabulary word, we'll talk about it after because I have some slides and some other sentences for you. If you hear any strange noises while visiting Komodo Island, don't go check them out because you might find yourself face to face with the world's largest, most dangerous lizard. And it looks hungry. As it starts charging towards you, you realize you've never seen a creature move that fast before. So there's the first paragraph. You can always go back and shadow if you would like, but there were a couple phrases in that paragraph I thought that might be difficult. So let's talk about them. The first one is this: what about face to face? Have you ever heard that term before? It is sometimes a business English term. You might hear, hey, do you want to meet on Zoom? And I'm sure we all know what Zoom is, right? After the last couple years. But that person might say, no, I'd rather meet face to face, or I'd rather meet in person. So sometimes you'll have those little lines, like we call them hyphens, or sometimes you won't have them. So I didn't put the lines or the hyphens in my sentence, but the article has it. So basically, if you use it as an adjective, put in the hyphens. Like if I said in that sentence, I'd rather have a face to face meeting, then you would put the hyphens in. But to be honest, hyphens or no hyphens, it really doesn't matter. Don't worry too much about it. Just check in the chat. Ukraine is in the house. What's going on, Sergey? Roman is also in Kiev, right? Did I pronounce that correctly? It's Kiev, Ukraine, right? Kiev. Oh, and I think Artem is from Ukraine. Ukraine is in the house. And of course, France. Hope everything is well in France. Celia, I knew she was from Argentina, but maybe not everybody else did. And now you know. The dragonfly. Yeah, a lot different. Can I pull up just in case? I know we have talked about the dragonfly on this channel before, but just in case you don't know what a dragonfly is in English, I'm pretty sure without too much trouble, I can pull a picture up of a dragonfly. I'm sure you've seen one. Let's see. So this is a little tricky. Maybe I shouldn't do it. But I would like to show everybody a dragonfly. I'm not going to do this again. It's taking too long. Here we go. Let's go. The boomer can do it. Dragonfly right here. It's going to pop up right now. So Freddie said dragonfly. That's what a dragonfly is in English. I'm sure you have your own word in Ukrainian or Spanish, but that's a dragonfly in English. Quite a bit different from a Komodo dragon. And I would say there's very little that the two animals have in common. English, come on. I don't know. Why? I'm not sure. Alberto, hope you're doing well, my friend. Yeah, Jasper is wondering, is there any relationship between the dragonfly and the dragon? I don't think so. Do you? Do they? I've read a lot of fairy tales to my kids. I've had them read to me as I was a kid. And I don't think the dragons and the tales and the pictures that I saw had anything to do with each other. There was one other word in that. Now it's going to be hard for me to get the article back up. I don't think I'm going to Google anything anymore. There we go. In that paragraph, there was also the verb charging. And yesterday, I did an English lesson on credit cards and shopping, and you can charge a card. So I thought that might be difficult. One word, but two very different meanings. So take a look at this sentence. You could charge a credit card, and that means to put money on it. But an elephant could charge towards you. So it basically means to run really fast in one direction. All right. And I thought this animal, I mean, yeah, Komodo dragons might charge, but when I first heard the verb charge with an animal, I was thinking about this animal. It's a fun animal to pronounce. Rhinoceros. We pronounce that animal rhinoceros. But what if there were two rhinoceroses? That's that's hard to say, right? Rhinoceroses. Hopefully there's just you could say I was going to say there's a group of rhinoceroses charging towards me. That's a bad day. If that happens to you, because I have heard a rhinoceros can charge at about 30 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers, but it is faster than I can run. And we're going to talk about outrun, the verb outrun, in a little bit. I do not think I could outrun a rhinoceros. I might be able to outrun a Komodo dragon, though. We'll find out. All right, just check the chat. Make sure. Okay, there we go. If you wanted to know how to spell dragonfly in Ukrainian, Artem, thank you so much. Excuse me. All right, question. Someone is dead. No, defunct president? No. Defunct would be like a business that no longer is open. A band, like a musical band, might be defunct. But yeah, deceased, late, those are both great. Yeah, those are very respectful terms. They would make a lot of sense. Oh, our late mother would have loved this. The late president served back in 1800. Yeah, so late is good. No, good. Emmanuel, how are you? Emmanuel left a very nice comment yesterday. Thank you so much. Do I use charge this way? How much does that charge? No, I would say, how much does that cost? And if you want to know if a business accepts credit cards, you can just say, hey, two things maybe. Can I put this on my card? Or do you accept credit cards? So in English, that's what we would say. But the salesperson, the cashier, might say, would you like me to charge your card? So hopefully that helps. Jeez, Ukraine, welcome. Ukraine is definitely in the house. Komodo dragon is the last dinosaur on planet Earth. All right. Oh, thank you. Freddie Wolf, 48 kilometers per hour. I don't, maybe you are faster than me. I am getting older and older every day. So, yeah. All right, let's get back to the article. If there is anything I am missing, let's do it. Hey, raining cats and dogs. That's one of the first idioms English learners will learn. But guess what? Native English speakers, we hardly ever use that. Raining cats and dogs. All right, the next thing we are going to talk about, heavyweights. But let's get back to the article. Second paragraph. Hopefully my voice holds up. Second paragraph. I'm going to move it right to the top of the screen. Short paragraph. If you thought dragons only exist in fairy tales, we have a surprise for you. This is a Komodo dragon. They have shark like teeth, strong muscles, and enough power to kill a human being. Okay. You have my attention. I'm a little nervous. I would love to meet one of these things, but it sounds like it could be just a little bit dangerous. All right. In that paragraph, there was talk of a fairy tale. I have mentioned it in this live stream before. So, just in case you don't know what a fairy tale is, fairy tales, a tale is a story. Tale is a story. Tail, be careful. A rhinoceros, yeah, I think it does. Yeah, okay. A rhinoceros does have a tail. It's that long, stringy thing in the back of their body. And so does a Komodo dragon. You just can't see it. So, tail, I'll write it in the chat. It's what an animal has. Tail. That is what an animal has on its back. And then this is a story here, tail. And we call these homophones. I mentioned it in yesterday's live lesson. They are two words that sound alike, but they have different spellings and different meanings. So I think most languages have fairy tales that are told to children. Snow White, we call her in English Snow White, and the Three Little Pigs. I think most cultures have a story, Three Little Pigs and a wolf. Those are fairy tales. Maybe you knew that, maybe not. Next paragraph here, moving right along, just in case you're busy and you have something to do. Let's make this a quick English lesson. 20 minutes already? But how long are most English classes? Maybe 40 minutes, an hour? The good thing is you can watch it on replay. You can listen to it on the podcast. All right, next paragraph right at the top. Let me make this really big. Komodo dragons are the heavyweights of the lizard world. They weigh more than 136 kilograms, 300 pounds, and grow up to 3 meters or 10 feet long. They're only found on several islands in Indonesia. Shout out, Harry. And estimates say there are about 5,700 of them. About 176,000 people visited Komodo National Park in 2018. You're allowed to travel across the park by yourself, but you'll need to be careful. So there were two things in that paragraph that I thought might give you trouble. If you have other questions, leave them in the chat. But the first one is heavyweights. Heavyweights. This is a boxing term right there. This is a boxing term, and it means the heaviest boxers, the boxers that weigh the most. We talked about that Komodo dragon. Was it 300 pounds? Make that a little bigger. 300 pounds or 136 kilos. That's big. That's big. That's bigger than I am. That's big. So we could definitely call that animal a heavyweight. 300 pounds in my book, in my opinion, it's pretty big, pretty heavy. The other thing that I thought might give you trouble was that word estimate, or there are two different ways to pronounce estimate or estimate. if you use it as a verb or if you use it as a noun. Here they used it as a noun. And estimates is a formal way to say a guess. And usually an estimate has some kind of research. It's not a wild guess. It's not a shot in the dark. So a wild guess without doing research can be called a shot in the dark. An estimate usually has something to back it up. There is research that has been done. Okay. So an estimate is a very formal way to say guess. Like it's a good guess. It's a good guess. Maybe a scientist would estimate how a good guess. Not a fact, but it's a really good guess. All right. Yeah, we're just gonna stick to the article here because it would take too long. So I'm just going to answer questions about the article, terms that you might not know. Rodrigo, nice to meet you. Welcome. Oh, maybe he was talking to Manuel. Yes, Harry, great question. I don't know. But if you see the abbreviation in English, LB, it means pounds. I don't know, Harry. Don't know. Great question. Great question. All right, let's do it. Musa, I don't think I've said hello to you. Hope you're doing well. So heavyweights, estimates, it's tough. English, not easy, right? Let's go to the next paragraph. I'm going to move this up. One more paragraph here. And I'm going to make it bigger so you can see. That's what a good teacher does, right? Sometimes I forget. Here we go. If a hungry dragon comes looking for you, what could you do to survive? Can you outrun a Komodo dragon? Why is their bite so dangerous? And why could zigzagging save your life? Dragons in Komodo National Park have attacked 31 people since 1974. 5 of those people died. So my question to you, is that a lot? 1974. It's like almost 50 years ago. 5 people have died from Komodo dragon attacks. Would you visit that national park in Indonesia? Or is it too dangerous? 5 people, it's about one a decade. A decade is every 10 years. Is it too dangerous to visit that national park in Indonesia? Hey, Mega, thank you. Yes, I got to thank you. 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. If you've subscribed to the channel, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Cecilia, we were talking yesterday. I think Cecilia is one of the first 3 subscribers. She's still with the channel. Thank you so much for all of your support over the years. Mega's been around for a long time, though. I started the channel in January 2020, and I know we spoke in like May 2020. So she's been around for a long time. Thank you, Mega from India. Outrun, Emmanuel. We need to talk about outrun, don't we? So the question is, would you mind checking this question using the word outrun? You can't outrun who you are? Yeah, that's not the literal. That's not really like running. But yeah, that's correct. It's a good one. Good one, Manuel. Good one. Harry, are you saying you would? This must be, I know Indonesia is a huge country. but would you visit? Are you answering my question? I don't think so. Cecilia, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. No way. Okay, we're going to talk about the Komodo dragon's bite, but Emmanuel said, I heard the Komodo dragon has a bite which could paralyze. Oh, I thought you said paralyze the victim. Yes, we are going to get to that soon. Yes. All right. I would love to visit Indonesia. So Harry says, come here. We'll go together because I've never been there. I would need a guide. We are going to talk about a guide in a minute. I would need a guide, Harry. I would love it if you would be like, Musa lives in Indonesia too. Musa, Harry, let's go. Let's go. I'm serious. When I get a little older, I do want to travel quite a bit. I would love to do an English lesson in every country. I don't think that is going to happen, but it would be amazing. Traveling in May. Like mega. Love it. All right, let's go. Yeah. Indonesia. I mean, nice, warm, ocean all around it. I'm in. Okay, so Freddie has a prediction, has a guess, a good guess, an educated guess. I think some guides watch over visitors. Correct? Yes, you are. We're going to talk about how a person can be a guide and a book can be a guide. Nicely done. So a couple things that we read there. Outrun, we've talked a little bit about, but outrun means to run faster than something else. Like I'm pretty slow. So scary. But my son, who is 15, now can outrun me, which means to run faster. I don't know. My wife, I don't know if I could outrun her or not. But think about it. If a Komodo dragon is running after you, you want to outrun that thing. You don't want that thing to catch you and bite you. Outrun. Anything else? I think that paragraph wasn't too bad, right? I would go to the national park to see Komodo dragons, but I would follow these steps. I think there are six steps. Let's look at the first one here. And the first one says, don't go alone. When a Komodo dragon goes hunting for a meal, it prefers a target that is alone. So always stay around other people. I wouldn't have to worry about that. Harry and Musa, we would stick together. And don't be cheap. Paying for a guide or a ranger's services is the safest way to walk through the park. Yeah, so let's talk about that guide. Even if I say a travel guide, like they said in the article, now that is a person. A travel guide probably works at the park and they will take you around the park, show you the important things. But, got a picture for you. You might travel guide. Talk about zigzag in a minute. But a travel guide could also be a book. When I went to Europe in 1995, before the internet, I took with me a travel guide, and that helped me get around Europe, or it guided me around Europe. Yeah, so a guide has more experience than another person, so they help that person. They will guide them. For instance, if somebody was blind, if they could not see, they might have a friend guide them around a new building. If they didn't know what the building was like, They might have a guide, and that person might put a hand on their shoulder and just kind of help them walk around that new building, guide them around that new building. Can't wait to talk about zigzag. It's fun to say. If you're alone in your room right now watching this, feel free, say zigzag out loud. Who cares? Even if you are in a cafe and you're listening with headphones, say it out loud. Zigzag. People might look at you a little funny. Who cares? We'll talk about zigzag in a minute. Musa, another fact for Brent. Komodo dragons eat their prey whole. So we're going to talk about prey. There are two ways you can write prey. Musa wrote that correctly. There's also whole. It could be written like this. You might have a hole in your shirt. You might have a hole in your shirt. But the way Musa spelt it, can I find it again? The whole thing. That's what we're talking about. Like if you had a meal, a plate full of spaghetti, and you ate the whole thing, that one starts with a W. It means nothing is left. You ate the entire thing. Musa. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right. Just looking through the chat. Couple people from Indonesia are talking. Love it. Elena, were you in that? All right. This is off topic, but I love it. I love Stephen Krashen. I love Stephen Kaufman. Dr. Krashen is somebody that I believe in a lot when it comes to acquiring language. Elena, great question. Great question. He is the expert, so I will always defer to him. But he says one of the best ways to learn English or any language is to do exactly what you are doing now, listening and reading. He says those are the two best ways to acquire language. And if you can do it at the same time, reading and listening like we are doing now, yeah. So Elena, they are Steve Kaufman. They're both I look up to them. They're kind of my idols. They're in their 70s. I think Dr. Krashen is 78. Or is he 81? Both very smart, both still wanting to learn new things. Love it. If you don't know Dr. Krashen, check him out. After this live stream, don't leave now. After this live stream, Matt versus Japan and Dr. Krashen had a conversation. I have watched that probably 3 or 4 times. Very interesting. Now, of course, Dr. Krashen uses some very big words. You know, he's a native English speaker. He is a professor of linguistics. So some of his material might be difficult, but just checking through the chat here. It's true. We call those dogs guide dogs, by the way. So Freddie says mostly blind people walk around with their blind dogs. So guide is coming back, and we would call them guide dogs. Yeah. A woman at my school, she's a teacher, but she is blind. She uses a cane or a walking stick, a pole. What would we call that in English? But she uses a pole to make sure she doesn't run into walls. She's very good. Very good. All right. Hey, Williams, thank you. 10,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Manuel, I'm listening and doing shadowing. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water. I have this little reminder here for you. Maybe share it, like it.
If this lesson is helping your English improve, don't forget to tap that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English.
All right, so I think we read step 1 already. Let's go to step 2. Stay on the path. Often when you go walking in the woods or you go walking in the park, there is a path you should stay on so you don't damage the grass. It's very important to stay on the park's official trekking paths. If you leave these paths, you run the risk of coming too close to a Komodo dragon. They're really good at hiding in bushes in the shade below stilt houses. All right. That's step 2. Step 2, stay on the path. Now, I thought stilt might be a new word for you. And if it is, let's talk about it. So, stilts are exactly like that man is wearing. They're not as popular now as they were maybe 100 years ago. But at one time, people had fun walking around on stilts. Now, you might see a house on stilts. That's what we would call it, a house on stilts, because that house is probably located in a place where it floods. So, right now, in that picture, it doesn't look like there is any flooding. But I bet during the rainy season, the water rises. You might need to put your house on stilts. So, just in case that was a tough one for you, stilts. Let's check the chat. Philip, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Yes, Mahmood, I needed to cough, get some water. Allergies, allergy. AJ Hogue, I know of him. One of my first subscribers, 2.5 years ago, Ibrahim from Egypt, is a big fan of AJ Hogue. I'm not using my phone. I'm using a laptop to stream right now. Manuel, you're always so kind. Always so kind. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, the next one. Number 3, keep your distance. The opposite of that is getting close. Let me make this bigger. Keep your distance. Don't get too close. Step 3, keep your distance. If you get too close, Komodo dragons will feel threatened and are more likely to attack. Even if you're observing the Komodo dragon from a safe distance, making sudden movements can scare them and ignite an attack. Okay. A couple things right here. Observing, that is a formal way to say watching. Observing. So if you want to look at the Komodo dragon, do it from a safe distance. Don't get too close. I think I have another one here too. Oh, ignite. Ignite. So ignite means to start something. The most common way you might hear it used is you can ignite a fire. Maybe you have some paper and some matches. You could start a fire or you could ignite a fire, but you could also ignite an attack. You could ignite a conversation. So, like the phrasal verb we might use is to start up a conversation. Hope that helps. All right. Number 4, step 4, moving right along just in case you have something to do. I don't want to waste your time. Step 4, lay low. Komodo dragons have an incredible sense of smell. So it's a good idea not to use any strong fragrance. We will talk about fragrance in a minute. Leave your cologne at home. All right. Women who are menstruating are not allowed near the dragons since they can smell the slightest bit of blood. Let's pause for a second here. Could be a little embarrassing for some people menstruating. You probably know this. Once a month or so, women might bleed in a certain place. So this guide is advising women who are menstruating to not visit the Komodo dragon since they can smell blood. Something I'm glad I don't have to worry about, but just be aware if you are going there, and in English, we would say on your period. If you are on your period, you might not want to get too close. May want to wait a little while to visit because Komodo dragons can smell blood. The next one, a couple things I know we need to talk about. Fragrance, cologne. When the dragons smell blood, can you see it right in the middle of the paragraph? They think it comes from their prey. Prey has been mentioned before. And if you make a lot of noise, it can invite a hungry lizard or disturb the lizards. They may attack because they feel threatened. All right, let's talk about cologne and perfume. Most of the time in English, men will wear cologne. They will put that on their body to make them smell better. Women wear perfume. It's usually how it goes. Usually, men wear cologne, women wear perfume. Probably the same thing, right? But fragrance. Let me pronounce it correctly. A fragrance is always a nice smell. An odor is a bad smell. So we also have this word that's really close to fragrance. A fragrance, that is a noun, but you might also hear fragrant. And that is the adjective form. So if a flower smells nice, you can say that is a fragrant flower. Not easy to say. Fragrant flower. Oh, ignition. Yeah, good. That is from Uzbekistan, right? That is a part of the car that you turn the key if it's an older car, and it will start your car. Your ignition. All right. What are you reading? Yes, I am reading an article about Komodo dragons. And if you would like a copy of the article, it is down in the description. Miho from Japan. Thank you so much. Miho has been with the channel for a long time. Audie, if you like to use perfume, doesn't matter. It's pretty much the same thing. Just in English, usually we say guys wear cologne, women wear perfume. If you want to wear perfume, it's fine. And I know Audie works out a lot. So he's probably showering often and putting on that sweet smelling perfume. All right. Do I have let me try to, this is a tongue twister. Emmanuel would like to know, do I have a favorite fragrance? You know what I like? Pumpkin spice. It is getting to be fall where I live, and I love the smell of pumpkin and spices in the fall. I also love Vanilla. I also love vanilla. All right. Hey, Mahmood, I will try not to skip any questions, but I'll also try to get through this pumpkin spice. Try to get through this lesson here. All right. Do we have any? What's the next one? We haven't talked about scales yet. Zigzag. Coming up. Coming up. Let's do it. Ooh, zigzag pattern, right? Is that next? All right, let's get rid of this. And let's do this. And let's bring this up. Run in a zigzag pattern. Love that word. Zigzag. Step 5. Run in a zigzag pattern. You couldn't resist being noisy. Now an angry Komodo dragon is charging at you. The good news is that you might be able to outrun it. The dragons can speed up to 21 kilometers per hour or 13 miles per hour, but not for long. So give it all you got. You might escape. If you're not a fast runner, you're tired, or the dragon is close enough to lunge at you, this tip could save your life. Komodo dragons can only run straight ahead. So run in a zigzag pattern and the dragon will stop chasing you. What's zigzag? There. You can see that. If you're listening to the podcast, so sorry, you can't see that, but zigzag, let me make me big for a minute, goes like this. So not in a straight line, but moving from side to side. So that picture is a zigzag pattern. It does have stripes. It has black and white stripes, but it also moves in the way of a zigzag, up and down, side to side. Zigzag. Excuse me. All right. And I think it also, that paragraph said lunge. So if you're not sure about what that verb means, lunge, it means make a quick movement towards something. Somebody just ran a machine upstairs. Can you hear that machine? Lunge. So that means go right towards somebody. You might lunge at someone who is trying to steal your wallet or your purse. They might lunge at you to try to steal that purse or your wallet. But I have a sentence that you might use. Doesn't have to be violent, but it is a quick movement. Maybe you are really hungry, just like that Komodo dragon. You could say, I was so hungry, I lunged at my food when the server brought it to our table. You can imagine somebody so hungry, they're like, just cover that food and start chowing. Another way to say eat very quickly. Chow down. They chowed down on some food. If you don't know that English phrasal verb. No. Okay. Great question, Casey. Lunging doesn't mean biting. It just means like a quick movement towards you. Now, they might bite you at the same time, lunging and biting, but lunging is the movement. So I'm going to lunge my hand right towards the camera like that. It's just a real quick movement. So think about that person that's really hungry. Oh, have you ever eaten pizza that's really hot and the cheese sticks to the roof of your mouth? Roof. It's the top of a house, but it's also what we call the top of your mouth. Yeah. When you eat pizza and the cheese is really hot, it can burn the roof of your mouth. Yeah, Mahmood, I tried to make this lesson about 40 minutes, but yeah, Mahmood, this might be going an hour. Not sure. Ah, Freddie Wolf. when you are drunk. I know there are some people in the chat who don't drink. Good, good, good. But yeah, some people might walk in a zigzag pattern if they are drunk. Another verb we could use is they are stumbling. If somebody is stumbling, they are not walking straight. They might be falling from one side to the other, stumbling. Yeah, good stuff. Zigzag movement, like a rabbit. Yeah, rabbits don't bounce or hop in a straight line, right? They often do it in a zigzag pattern, probably so they don't get eaten. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Dan, welcome. Glad you're here. Freddie says, I'm lunging my lunch. Be careful, Freddie. You want a preposition there. So I would probably say I'm lunging at my lunch, which is not easy to say, right? I'm lunging at my lunch, or I'm lunging towards my lunch. All right. Similar word in Russian, Dan. Thank you so much. Swaying. Oh, that's a good one. Now, swaying. So if somebody has had too much alcohol, they might be swaying. Swaying is almost like slow lunging, but swaying, it's usually slow and it's back and forth. I'm now swaying my head back and forth. A lot of parents will sway their baby to make them fall asleep. It's a good one. Good one. Was it spacing out? Yeah, you can. I hope you're not spacing out during this English lesson. The good news is you can always watch on replay. But if you space out, it means you daydream for a minute. You don't pay attention for a minute. And that can happen quite a bit. Ah, interesting, Harry. I wouldn't advise this, but since drunk people are known to walk in a zigzag pattern, is it possible that they could survive a Komodo dragon attack better than somebody who wasn't drunk? I don't think I wouldn't want to try it, but it is interesting. It is interesting, Harry. Let's not try that. Let's not try that. Oh my gosh. We talked about this yesterday. The donkey? What noise does a donkey make? That was in yesterday's lesson, wasn't it? It was in the question and answer from yesterday. Hee-haw, right? Do I drink vodka? I have had vodka before, but I do not drink very often. I probably haven't had a drink in maybe 2 months. And with school starting, I probably won't have a drink, I don't know, maybe next summer or something. Emmanuel, thank you. This lesson won't make you doze off. Good English phrasal verb right there. Nicely done. All right, I think we have one last step. Do we? Yeah. All right, let me share this. Make it nice and big. Get rid of the zigzag pattern. Fight back. Ooh, be careful. Be careful. We have 7 steps. 6. Step 6, fight back. If a Komodo dragon bites you, it's bad news. If you try to run, the big lizard can follow you for miles, waiting for its venom to take effect. Venom, I think of it as poison. So the Komodo dragon is venomous. That's the adjective. So you don't want to be bit. So force the Komodo dragon to let you go. The dragon's scales are like armor, so you won't hurt a Komodo by hitting or punching it. Instead, use a tree branch or rock and hit its nostrils, eyes, or the inside of its mouth. Couple things I think we should talk about. I'm wondering, does anybody know what nostrils are? Does anybody know what nostrils are? There's a good chance that we all have them. Probably two of them. Nostrils. No cheating. Don't Google it. Yes, Google can be a verb. Does anyone in the chat know what nostrils are? Like I said, we all have two. Most of us, probably all of us in the chat have two. As Harry said, yes, we do have two. We do have two. Bruno Dart, have I ever tried mead? That Viking drink made of honey. Where I live, there are a couple places that I think it's brew. We would use that verb brew mead, but I don't think I have ever had it. Yes, Casey. What are nostrils? What are nostrils? Yes, Mahmoud, speaking of body parts, I should do an English lesson. Nose. It's the little holes in your nose. You probably have two of them. I have a picture for you. Let's see, let's bring this up. It's not zigzag. It's not travel guide. We've got to talk about scales in a minute. But look at that. When you had your test, the doctor or the nurse probably stuck the Q-tip up your nostrils. You can still say nose, but the nostrils are the actual holes in your nose. Like I said, probably most of us have two. Yes, Freddie, the entrance of the nose. Musa, nostrils are those holes under your nose. Very well. Very well said. And our friend from Uzbekistan says, two big holes in the dragon's nose. Yes, I think if you are going to fight back, what did it say? Shove a tree branch up the dragon's nose. He or she will let you go. They will let you go. All right, Mio. Didn't know the meaning, but I hope now you do. Mio, glad to see you in the chat, by the way. All right, the other one was scales. Scales. So dragons definitely have scales. It's their skin. And in that picture, you can see what's probably a snake. So snakes, lizards, fish. I was on Instagram earlier, and another English teacher reminded me, hey, don't fish have scales? Yes, they do. So the skin of a fish, we could describe that as scaly. Snakes, lizards. But in the morning, you might also step on a scale. And in that picture, that person is stepping on a scale to weigh themselves. You might go to the supermarket and you would see that there is a scale for weighing your fruit. So scale has a couple different meanings. Of course, the dragon's skin has scales. All right. Q-tips. Interesting. Baby buds. So, excuse me. Q-tips is actually a name brand. We say Q-tips in the United States all the time, probably more than cotton swabs. Those things, let's pull up the picture again. So that doctor is using a cotton swab, but we call them Q-tips. I promise. If you come to the United States and you say Q-tips, everyone will know what you're talking about, but it's a name brand. Q-tips. Not all cotton swabs are Q-tips, but it's just like Kleenex. You might hear all tissues called Kleenex, even if the company Kleenex doesn't make the tissue. Whoa, interesting. There you go. Nostrils. The dragon, fairy tale dragon, will spit out fire from their nostrils. Nice job. Yeah, Philip, I think we're almost done. Let's try to wrap this up in the next 3 minutes, maybe. Oh, shake. No, snake. S-N-A-K-E. Great question. No, snake. Snake has scales. Freddie, I agree. Freddie says he hates his scale. Yeah, my scale always says more weight than I think I actually have. I think my scale is broken. Freddie, we need to get another scale. Yeah, absolutely. Good call. I'm glad I'm not alone. Glad I'm not alone. All right. Is wait, we got one more paragraph? We got 3 paragraphs. If the dragon is not too big and it grabs a hold of you, you can try and open its mouth with your hands. Actress Sharon Stone, very famous American actress, arranged a special birthday gift for her husband, a visit to the Komodo dragon at Los Angeles Zoo, and he tried to take a photo. The dragon grabbed his foot. He forced the dragon's jaws open, threw it aside, and dragged himself out of the cage. So he forced the dragon's jaws open. So your jaws are part of your mouth. Jaws. So I guess he forced the dragon's jaws open. The dragon gave up. I don't know. Can you do that with an alligator or a crocodile? I don't know. All right. Cecilia, thank you so much. Oscar, here live for the first time. Welcome. Hope you're doing well in Venezuela. Yeah, zoos. Yeah, don't want to get too political here, but yeah, zoos can be a problem. We have some zoos in the United States that do a really good job of rescuing animals in the United States. We also have circuses. A circus, if you know that in English, they do not always treat animals well. Can be rather sad. All right. Oh gosh. Dan, we're getting a little too political. A return to the moon. If you come to the United States, you might hear some people think that we never made it to the moon. So maybe we'll do a lesson on the moon at one point. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Let's just get back. Komodo dragons are less controversial, I think. Zoos going to the moon, we might call them hot button topics. Very controversial. 2 people could really disagree on those topics. Hopefully, Komodo dragons, everyone agrees. They're pretty cool. Maybe a little dangerous. But if you're careful, I want to go visit one. No, Dan, never a stupid question. Don't keep asking the questions. I love them. We may do a mission to the moon English lesson soon. No, great question. Great question. Feel free to chat about it in the chat. All right. Step 7, be quick or be dead. Let's make this bigger. Be quick or be dead. Call for help and get medical care as soon as possible. Don't waste any time because the venom could make you bleed to death. Getting medical attention is your number one priority. And remember, the blood could attract other dragons. Ooh, you got a real mess on your hands. If you can move, get back on the trail and ask a guide for help. They have forked sticks. So think about a fork when you eat, a forked stick to keep the dragons away. They only attack if they feel threatened, are provoked, or smell blood. And humans are not their usual prey. But the dragons are losing their natural habitat and their food sources. All right, a couple things that we should talk about here before this lesson ends. Something is going on upstairs at my house. If something is a priority, that's how we pronounce that word. If something is a priority, it is very important. Here's a sentence with priority. My number one priority in life is my family. So you might say, my number one priority is my health. If you go to work, you might have a priority that day. That means you need to do that first. Your priority would be to file those papers. Priority. Now, they talked about pray, and we have two different ways of spelling pray. Also, they have different meanings. Homophones. Prey is hunted by predators. Prey is hunted by predators. So I think about the lion, right? They call him in English the king of the jungle. And so he would be a predator, and he's probably hunting prey like antelopes, those little skinny deer things with the horns. So the lion is the predator and the antelope is the prey. But you might also hear pray if you're religious. So pray. You, depending on your religion, you might put your hands together, or you might go to the ground on all fours, we might call it, depending on your religion. But pray is spelled with an A if it's religious. And if you're talking about hunting, it's with an E. There was also habitat. Habitat is a very formal way to say a place where somebody lives or an animal lives. So habitat is the place where an animal lives. And the article is saying that the Komodo dragon at one time had a lot of space to live. Now there are more humans building houses and stores, that the place, the habitat where the Komodo dragon can live is shrinking or getting smaller. All right, let's check the chat here. Anything? Birds of prey. Birds of prey. Those are the big birds. In English, in the United States, we have eagles, we have hawks, we have falcons. Those are birds of prey. Owls, if you know what an owl is. Good call. Good call. Don't forget to say a little prayer when you encounter Komodo dragon. Yeah. Just say a prayer. Hopefully you will survive. All right. Oh no. What's that? I have a problem. I always sleep when I'm listening to English or watching. How can I overcome this bad habit? Okay. So what I do, if English is your priority that day, start your day with listening to English. Listening is a great way to do it. So if you get up in the morning and you have a routine, maybe you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you could listen to English while you get ready for work. If you have a commute to work, you can always listen to English. If you're driving, you probably don't want to watch it, but you could listen. Try to get as much English listening into your life as possible. You could watch one of my playlists. I have hours and hours of lessons. Just keep that thing playing all day. Oh, Jamie's here. Jamie, did I see? Are people saying hi to Jamie? Yeah, Jamie is in New York City right now with my son. All right. Could you please read a complete paragraph at the normal speed you speak? Oscar, yes, because this is your first time catching a live lesson. Let's do it right here. But when I read to my students in my classroom, I do slow down and try to read a little more clearly, but let's do it just in case somebody wants to practice shadowing. It's right there. I'm going to read a little bit more quickly here. Okay. Hopefully I don't mess up. Maybe I should take a drink of water before I do that. And while I do that, hang on.
If this lesson is helping your English improve, don't forget to tap that like button and share it with a friend who's learning English.
All right, here we go. Reading it at a faster pace. Call for help and get medical care as soon as possible. Don't waste any time because the venom could make you bleed to death. Getting medical attention is your number one priority. And remember, the blood could attract other dragons. If you can move, get back on the trail and ask a guide for help. They have forked sticks to keep the dragons away. They only attack if they feel threatened, are provoked, or smell blood, and humans are not their usual prey. But the dragons are losing their natural habitat and their food sources. So hopefully that helps, and you can always replay that if you would like, but it's read a little more quickly. Wow, over an hour for this lesson. I didn't think it would be this long. Jeez. Elena, be careful, man. Cognac is an alcoholic drink. Be careful. Some people in the chat I know don't drink, so be careful. All right, I must go. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. If you're living in Indonesia, like Harry is, it might be time for bed. Musa, maybe it's almost bedtime. Miho, out there in Japan. All right, I need to go. Thank you so much for all your support. It's always a good time. We will try to get together again next weekend. So check the channel. I usually post about 24 hours before I go live. So thank you so much.